Hello, hello, my friends. It's Jennifer McCollum here with the Parent Coach Club, and I am with the brilliant Lalaine Frankel. Hello, Lalaine.
Hello, Jennifer. Nice to see you.
So good to see you because I need your help. And I
What can I do
think,
for you?
and I think a majority of parents out there need your help too. And here's why. If you have more than one child, you probably have struggled with kids fighting. And this is what Lalaine does. She is the expert when it comes to sibling relationships. And today she's going to walk us through steps to take so that you can feel really good about letting your kids fight. Who wants to just feel okay about letting their kids fight? Like, hands up, I do.
I do.
I know. Like, really, our kids are going to fight. It's inevitable. But there's a right way and a wrong way to really create space for them to do that. So, Lalaine, tell us about yourself, who you are, how you help
Yes.
parents. Tell us everything.
Okay. Yes, I'm Lalaine, and I'm so happy to be here with all of you. And I am a parent coach who specializes in sibling relationships. I show parents how it is okay for your children to fight, that it can actually lead to stronger sibling bonds and more peace in your home and some really valuable social skills. We have to let them fight. They actually do fight, and there's a lot to be learned by them fighting.
Yeah, I love that. So, Lalaine, you've been a parent educator for over 30 years.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you've just recently really focused on sibling relationships because that's really where you shine. So you've got kids of your own. Do you want to tell us about your family a little bit?
Yeah. I have four grown children, and started out with a set of twins. And when they were about 18 months old, my third child was born. So I had three in diapers at one time. It was, don't remember much of that, except I kept them all alive and but there were definitely a lot of conflicts. And 7 years after my third child was born, my fourth child was born, and he was born with Down syndrome. So that threw another sort of, some extra challenges and a lot of joy into our family life. But I definitely have learned so much from those relationships, the twin relationships, the boys, the girls, and it's really helped me to share those experiences with families that are looking for help.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're watching this or listening to this right now and you've got kids, more than one child, you've probably, encountered situations where they're not getting along. And I know for myself, I used to feel like, heck, I'm in the parenting world and my kids are fighting. Am I a failure? Do you get that a lot, Lalaine? Do you have people coming to you and saying,
Yes.
like, what have I done wrong?
And it's nothing that you've done wrong, right? Actually, there's research that shows that children fight 3.5 times in an hour. So that's a lot of fighting. That's like maybe like 10 minutes of fighting per hour. And if you are constantly having to be involved in the fighting, being the referee, the judge, the jury, the problem solver, that is exhausting. You could basically do nothing else. So it's important to teach them and help coach them through how to fight, show them how to fight, so that you can sort of step out of the picture and let them really believe that they have the ability to solve problems on their own. So as young children, when they're very young, you want to be there to teach them and to coach them so that you can step away. I know that a lot of parents are oftentimes just looking at surviving day to day, and we're looking at the short-term Band-Aid solutions to get things fixed between the children. But really what we need to be looking at is, what are the long-term solutions? What I do now is going to impact their relationship later, and not just their relationship, but all their future relationships, because we are in conflict all the time. Things come up all the time. And so we need to learn how to listen. We need to learn how to listen empathetically. We need to learn how to express what our needs are, and we need to learn how to negotiate for what we want and find some, win-win solutions and problem solve through things. And these are all things that will help your children later in life. And again, like I said, with all their relationships, not just a sibling one.
That's so great. I feel like I'm going to be standing back and cheering them on. Yay, you guys can fight really well and work it out and
Yes.
negotiate or bargain, whatever you need to do to like come out of it alive.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course, when they're very young, you need to be there and you need to
Mhm.
teach them and coach them, and you need to keep them safe, because some
Mhm.
of these things, not just physically safe, but emotionally safe, because sometimes siblings can be very harsh, with each other. But setting the foundation and the ground rules to their fighting and showing them how to resolve conflict will really go a long way.
That's awesome. We were kind of joking before we started recording about
Mhm.
my family situation. So I grew up on a farm with 4 sisters, so 5 of us girls, and we had to share chores. And there was a lot of chores. Like we had like a lot to do on the farm, right? And so
Yeah.
there was a lot of conflict that was happening. And it's maybe not funny looking back now, but we got pretty mean with each other. Like, and I don't know that, we kind of walk away mumbling under our breath and sometimes
Mhm.
screaming out loud at the other person, pulling hair, poking eyes out, all of that we did when we were kids. And right now, as adults, we are all best friends.
That's
So
so beautiful.
it is
Yeah,
beautiful, but I
it
love
really
how
is.
you're coaching. When you're coaching parents, your focus is always on their future relationships with other people and with themselves, with their
Right.
siblings. I love how you don't just, here's a strategy to help them fight properly right now. It's that we're focused on the future. And I really love that. And I know your clients love it as well. And in, 10, 15, 20 years, I know they're all going to come back to you and say, thank you so much. My kids are best friends right now.
And I know when you're in the thick of it, it doesn't feel like they'll ever be best friends.
Mhm.
But think of the conflict as part of the practice that they need to gain those important skills that will, really help them for the long run.
That's so awesome. Okay, I really want to share your path from sibling rivalry to sibling harmony. Do you mind if I share it with our
Oh, no, not
watchers?
at
And
all. Go ahead.
hopefully, if
Yeah.
you're watching this, you'll be able to have a look. So I'm going to share your sibling relationships create your path from rivalry to harmony. Now, Lalaine, can you walk us through your path? That is the acronym, it spells create,
Hmm.
and it stands for each step that you take parents through. So can you just walk us through, like, let's say you have
Sure.
twins. You had twins, I have twins. This is really going to help me.
Yeah. Well, I say your path because it is your path. It's an individual path. Each family is unique and each child is unique. And we have to look at it that way and how it all works together as a whole. So would you like me just to start walking you through some of this?
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
love to know, like, I know those that are watching right now, they have their kids in mind. So mine are twins, but let's say they have a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old.
Mhm.
Or let's use, what example would you like to use? And then let's walk through this
Okay.
create path with that family in mind.
Okay, so let's talk about maybe some families that well, you know what, I'm going to do general, and we'll if you where I start oftentimes is I just want to get some clarity. We all have an idea of what we want their relationship to look like, and what is your ideal. I want you to clarify your goals and your vision and what motivates you. So for me, I remember I studied child development. So I thought I had these great ideas and philosophies of how it was going to be. I could picture myself going to the beach with all my children and packing them in the car and us having a lovely time. But the reality is, once we got over the hill, it was like someone was touching someone, or someone was, in their space. And it was just exhausting. So I had this vision of them getting along, and that always wasn't the case. So the next step is to reflect on what your reality is. I'm not talking about your social media reality, but what your actual reality is. What's the day-to-day? So I have parents look at what's working currently and what's not working within their family, and really take some time to observe and log in when conflicts are happening, because I might find that conflicts are happening every day at 3:00, or it's happened. And what's happening at 3:00? Maybe they're really tired after school and they're hungry and they need a snack. And so if we can figure out what the patterns are, then we can change the way of operating, so to speak. Then I move on to the explore stage, where we are trying to explore ways to bridge and connect, bridge the gap between what is really happening every day and what we wish we were happening. Okay, and what our long-term goals are. So we find ways to explore that. So if we have, let's say, children that aren't sharing, and the big thing is, she's always taking my stuff and it's driving me crazy, so we want to see explore like what things work for them and what don't work for them. Maybe it's sitting down and exploring some rules and some about turn taking, or sharing items, or with that, asking before taking my things. So then we activate a personal plan that helps you move closer to that vision after we've explored where your children are developmentally, what their needs are, what each of them are needing, what are the unmet needs that are causing the conflict. And then we move from activating the plan to trying different techniques and approaches, because my goodness, I wish there was one technique and a magic wand that we could use that would fix every single situation, every single scenario, but there just really isn't. And it's going to be unique to each family dynamics, as unique as each child is. So we try something, and if it works, great. But if it doesn't, there are lots of other tricks, approaches, strategies that we can explore and try until one fits, okay, and one's comfortable. And then we sort of evaluate how things are progressing, and we modify as needed. And sometimes we have to kind of reshift, like I said, take another approach or technique. But if things are going well, then we can start to enjoy the calm, that comes with family life, instead of having to always live within the chaos. So.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I love how you have it all laid out for us. Like, you take us right from here's what's going on to, here's what it can be like. Here's how you can set the stage for really great, strong sibling bonds in the future, and how you work individually with parents too. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Would you tell us a little bit about how you work with parents? So do you work with them in a group or one-to-one? How do parents connect with you, and how do they work with you?
So I do work with them one-on-one. And I also have a video and a workbook, a digital workbook that they can go through at their own pace, and, listen to the video, pause it where needed, and then, complete the exercises in the workbook. And then we can also work one-on-one, and where I can really customize a plan and work on what their current concerns and challenges are.
That's so awesome.
Because
So
yeah.
parenting, I interrupted. Sorry,
No, no,
Lalaine.
no.
Go ahead.
Parenting is a tough thing, right? And there's no manual and on exactly how to do it for, your exact scenario. So having a coach to help you one-on-one, is really beneficial as you're trying to become the parent that you want to be and create the family that are aspiring to have. And, with those really strong sibling relationships. And if you think about it, the sibling relationship is probably the longest lasting relationship that one has in their life, right? People come and go. Our partners, we kind of find them later on in life. And so the sibling relationship is a long lasting one. And we really want to help create strong bonds with our children if possible.
Well, I couldn't imagine life without my best friends who are my sisters. So I know this is really important work that you're doing. And I love that you are out there as an expert in sibling relationships. I don't really know anyone else in the world that is an expert in this area. And your course right now, they can grab at your on your website.
On my website,
Parenting with
Parenting with
Lalaine.
Lalaine.
Oh, jinx.
Mm-hmm.
We said it at the same time.
www.parentingwithlalaine.com.
I know. All right, that's awesome. So I'm going to drop that in the comments below as well and make sure that everyone knows, because I think you have 50% off that course right now.
I do. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
love, and with it, actually with the course, so you get the video, you get the workbook, and you get 30 minutes of a consultation with me. And also you get parenting tips, a monthly parenting tip little email every month. So
That's so awesome. Little reminders on how to let the kids fight and do it right so that they're building these strong sibling bonds.
Yeah, I'm actually this month I'm talking about saving the compliments. And saving the compliments for the deserving ear. So.
Oh, well, that's interesting. I'm going to have to make sure to watch for that tip. So, Lalaine, let's just recap. You are an expert to deal with sibling relationships. If anyone has kids that are fighting, this is a struggle. It's really hard when you're in the midst of it. To really have a coach walk you through is so beneficial. So you do the one-to-one coaching with parents. They could start by grabbing that course and workbook, huge value, and then take that half hour with you and get to know you. And
Yes.
I know you leave with so much. So I know you're going to leave them with something actionable that they can do, something, the first step they can take to create.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Create.
Each time. Yeah. Each time I meet with families, with parents, I really like to leave them with something that they can use, that's concrete, that's usable, so that the next time we meet, we can build upon that.
That's so awesome. Okay, so parentingwithlalaine.com. I'll put it in the comments. Anything you want to leave us with, any tidbit? We've got kids at home fighting. They might be in the background fighting right now. Hopefully you don't see them.
I don't see your kids, though. No, I don't.
No, they're in school. That's why you don't see them fighting right now. But on a normal day,
yeah,
you would.
Like I said, the sibling relationship is very important because it is a long-lasting relationship. But one of the things that you as a parent can do is really help each of your children feel like they have a sense of power within the family, that they feel heard, that they're important, that they're loved. Because if they have those things and they feel that connection with you and a connection with the entire family, that is going to help strengthen the bonds. And, so we work on what it is that we value and what is our vision, and create from there.
That is beautiful. Thanks so much, Lalaine. And I hope everyone reaches out to you if they have siblings. Even, I should say before you go, you even focus on bringing home a new baby.
Yes.
So let's
Yes.
talk about that for 1 second before we let
Mhm.
people go, because we're not just talking about siblings that are like fist fighting when they're preteens or the competition that happens between twins or sharing toys when they're younger. You also
Yeah.
help people prepare for a new baby. Is that right?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Absolutely, because when your first child has had you all to themselves, and this is a whole new arena when we bring in a new child, and there are definitely ways to help build and strengthen that relationship from the beginning. There's so much that we say and not consciously know that we're saying or doing that can really impact their relationship. So if we want to build positive sibling bonds, there are definitely things that we can do right from the beginning. It's, for example, it's really hard when you're at the hospital and your child, or the older child is watching everyone come and bring presents to the new baby, and they're so excited about the new baby, and that poor little older, your first child is like, what is going on? The tension all this time has been on me, and now we've got it all on this child. That's a really hard transition to make. And so I do have a lot of strategies to help with that. And one of the things that I would recommend is that when your older child does come to visit you for the first time in the hospital, that you don't have the new baby in your arms, because more than likely it's been a couple hours, a few hours, a day or so, and that they've been separated from you. And, they want to tell you about what's been going on in their life in those 24 hours or whatever it was, whatever it is. So I would have the new baby in a bassinet nearby and just welcome your older child, and be excited about seeing them. And then more than likely, the child will notice the baby. And at that point, it's the child's initiation coming and saying, what's that? Who's that? Is that the baby? And then start to talk about the baby. And then with the presents that are coming, it's interesting because the children, usually when you have your second child, your first child has had a birthday, more than likely. And so you can sort of talk about how that the baby just had a birthday, right? There was a born day. It was a day of being born. And people are happy just like when it's their birthday, and they are bringing gifts and because, yeah. So that's one way to kind of help with that transition. But I have lots of different techniques that I can share with you to help make that transition easier.
That is so wonderful. All right. Thank you so much, Lalaine, for being here and talking about sibling relationships, going from rivalry to harmony.
Yes.
I appreciate you being here. And I know every parent with kids or about to bring home a new baby are appreciative of you too.
Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thank you. We'll see you again.